Good evening. And good evening to the students who are online.
O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel. Your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands I turn to you, supreme unchanging friend. I request from the depths of my heart, please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind, and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with an unceasing banquet of delight. Through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you, may all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may holy Dhamma flourish forevermore. May the whole ground become completely pure, as level as the palm of a hand, and as smooth as lapis lazuli. May all of space be filled with offerings from gods and men, both set out and imagined, like offerings of thee, O good one. In the space in front, on a lion throne, on a cushion of lotus, sun and moon, sits Buddha Shakyamuni, the essence of all my kind teachers, surrounded by the assembly of direct and indirect gurus, Yidams, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, heroes, solitary conquerors, heroes, dakinis, and Dharma protectors. I and all my kind mothers, fearing samsara's torments, Turn to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, the only sources of refuge. From now until enlightenment, to the three jewels we go for refuge. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Through the virtues I collect by giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. Through the virtues I collect by giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. Through the virtues I collect by giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. From the hearts of all refuge objects, lights and letters stream down and dissolve into myself and all living beings, purifying negative karma and obstructions, increasing our lives, our virtues, and Dharma realization. May everyone be happy. May everyone be free from misery. May no one ever be separated from their happiness. May everyone have equanimity, free from hatred and attachment. You, protector of all beings, great destroyer of hosts of demons, please, O Blessed One, Lord of all, come to this place with your retinue. With my body, speech, and mind, humbly I prostrate, and make offerings both set out and imagined. I confess my wrong deeds from all time, and rejoice in the virtues of all. Please stay until samsara ceases, and turn the wheel of Dharma for us. I dedicate all virtues to great enlightenment. The ground sprinkled with perfume and spread with flowers, the great mountain for land, sun and moon, seen as a Buddha land and offered thus. May all beings enjoy such pure lands. I offer without any sense of loss the objects that give rise to my attachment, hatred, and confusion, my friends, enemies, and strangers, our bodies and enjoyments. Please accept these and bless me to be released directly from the three poisons. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. So now, my most kind root Guru, please Please sit on the lotus and moon on my crown, and grant me out of your great kindness your body, speech, and mind's attainments. I make request to you, Buddha Shakyamuni, whose body comes from countless virtues, whose speech fulfills the hopes of mortals, whose mind sees clearly all existence. I make request to you, Gurus of the lineage of extensive deeds, Venerable Maitreya, noble Sangha Vasubandhu, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of vastness. I make request to you, Gurus of the lineage of profound view, Venerable Manjushri, Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the most profound path. I make request to you, Gurus of the lineage of secret mantra, Conqueror Vajradhara, Tilopa, and Naropa, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of Tantra. I make request to you, Gurus of the old Kadam lineage, the second Buddha, Tisha, Drum, Tompa, Geshe, Potawa, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the union of vast and profound paths. I make request to you, Gurus of the new Kadam lineage, Venerable Tsongkhapa, Jampa, Gyatso, Kedrupje, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the union of Sutra and Tantra. I make request to you, Venerable Khalsang Gyatso, protector of a vast ocean of living beings, unequal teacher of the paths to liberation and enlightenment, who accomplish and explain everything that was revealed by the fourth deliverer of this fortunate eon. I make request to you, my kind precious teacher, who care for those with uncontrolled minds, untamed by all the previous Buddhas, as if they were fortunate disciples. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and all my mothers, so that we may quickly stop all perverse minds, from disrespect for our kind teacher, to the most subtle jewel appearance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, so that we may quickly generate pure minds, from respect for our kind teacher, to the supreme mind of union. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, to pacify all outer and inner obstructions. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and all my mothers, so that we may quickly stop all perverse minds, from disrespect for our kind teacher, to the most subtle jewel appearance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, so that we may quickly generate pure minds, from respect for our kind teacher, to the supreme mind of union. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, to pacify all outer and inner obstructions. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and all my mothers, so that we may quickly stop all perverse minds, from disrespect for our kind teacher, to the most subtle jewel appearance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, so that we may quickly generate pure minds, from respect for our kind teacher, to the supreme mind of union. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, to pacify all outer and inner obstructions. From the hearts of all the holy beings, streams of light and nectar flow down, blessings and purifying. The path begins with strong reliance on my kind teacher, source of all good. Oh, bless me with this understanding to follow him with great devotion. This human life with all its freedoms extremely rare, with so much meaning. Oh, bless me with this understanding all day and night to seize its essence. My body like a water bubble decays and dies so very quickly. After death come results of karma, just like the shadow of a body. With this firm knowledge and remembrance, bless me to be extremely cautious, always avoiding harmful actions and gathering abundant virtue. Samsara's pleasures are deceptive, give no contentment, only torment. So please bless me to strive sincerely to gain the bliss of perfect freedom. Oh, bless me so that from this pure thought come mindfulness and greatest caution, to keep as my essential practice the doctrine's root, the Pratimoksha. Just like myself, all my kind mothers are drowning in samsara's ocean. Oh, so that I may soon release them, bless me to train in bodhicitta. But I cannot become a Buddha by this alone, without three ethics. So bless me with the strength to practice the Bodhisattva's ordination, by pacifying my distractions and analyzing perfect meanings. Bless me to quickly gain the union of special insight and quiescence. When I become a pure container through common paths, bless me to enter the essence practice of good fortune, the supreme vehicle Vajrayana. The two attainments both depend on my sacred vows and my commitments. Bless me to understand this clearly and keep them at the cost of my life. By constant practice in 4 sessions, the way explained by holy teachers. Oh, bless me to gain both the stages which are the essence of the Tantras. May those who guide me on the good path and my companions all have long lives. Bless me to pacify completely all obstacles, outer and inner. May I always find perfect teachers and take delight in holy Dhamma. Accomplish all grounds and pass swiftly and gain the state of Vajradhara.
And so we can meditate. In the chapter Accepting Defeat and Offering the Victory, essentially it's encouraging us to develop a mind of patience, happily and peacefully accepting suffering. Venerable Geshe-la writes, whenever we find ourselves in an unpleasant or painful situation, we should think, this situation is the result of my negative karma. As the effect has already ripened, it is too late to purify it. There is nothing to do but accept the situation patiently, with a happy mind. I myself created the cause for this problem, and so it is my responsibility to accept the result. If I do not experience the results of my own negative actions, who else will? Geshe-la also writes, if we are able to bear our own suffering courageously, we will not find it difficult to take on the sufferings of others. Those who are able to practice this patience have very strong minds. They are like heroes or heroines, undaunted by the sufferings of samsara, and nothing has the power to disturb their minds. As Dharmarakshita says, a person who accepts samsaric enjoyments but cannot accept suffering will experience many problems. But a bodhisattva who accepts suffering courageously will always be happy. So we can meditate on the determination to become like a bodhisattva and accept our suffering courageously and strive always to be happy. So meditate on this determination. I will strive to accept suffering courageously and strive always to be happy. This is what I shall do. Hold that one thought in your mind, to accept suffering courageously and strive always to be happy. And hold that determination single-pointedly for as long as you can. the last 2 minutes, make that determination very deep and profound, so it impacts on your daily life. Thank you. The root text. With the intention to attain the ultimate supreme goal that surpasses even the wish-granting jewel, may I constantly cherish all living beings. Whenever I associate with others, may I view myself as the lowest of all, and with a pure intention, may I cherish others as supreme. Examining my mental continuum throughout all my actions, as soon as the delusion of self-cherishing develops, whereby I or others would act inappropriately, may I firmly face it and avert it. Whenever I see unfortunate beings oppressed by evil and violent suffering, may I sense them as if I had found a rare and precious treasure. Even if someone I have helped and of whom I had great hopes nevertheless harms me intentionally, may I take her as my holy spiritual guide. When others out of jealousy or anger harm me or insult me, may I take defeat upon myself and offer them the victory. In short, may I directly and indirectly offer help and happiness to all my mothers, and secretly take upon myself all their harm and suffering. Furthermore, through all the above practices, together with a mind undefiled by the stains of conceptions of the 8 extremes, and that sees all phenomena as illusory, may I and all living beings be released from the abundance of mistaken appearance and conception. And the condensed meaning, page 269 at the top. Taking and giving has 3 parts. Taking by means of compassion, giving by means of love, mounting, taking and giving upon the breath. Taking by means of compassion has three parts: taking on our own future suffering, the benefits of taking on others' suffering, the actual meditation on taking. So, page 159. So up to now we've been training in developing love and compassion for others, coming to reduce our own self-cherishing and coming to cherish others. So now we're going to engage in essentially what is Bodhisattva's actions. We haven't yet developed the mind of bodhicitta, but we're beginning to create the causes. And so the mind of bodhicitta will naturally arise from this practice, extraordinary practice of taking and giving. Imagining we're taking away the sufferings of others, even to ourselves. So we've practiced accepting our own suffering. Now we're practicing accepting the sufferings of others. And then giving them our happiness and our potential for happiness. So it's like we prepare to give away everything for the benefit of others. How cool is that? You can imagine the quality of the person we would become. We become extraordinary. So taking and giving. In short, may I directly and indirectly offer help and happiness to all my mothers, and secretly take upon myself all their harm and suffering. In the 7th verse, Bodhisattva Langritangpa explains the practices of taking by means of compassion and giving by means of love as a conclusion to the preceding verses. In short, here therefore means in conclusion. Bodhisattva Langritangpa's presentation is very beautiful. In the 1st verse, he explains how to cherish others. In the 2nd, how to enhance the mind of cherishing others. In the 3rd, how to eliminate self-cherishing and other obstacles to cherishing love. The first 2 verses reveal the practice of equalizing self and others, and the 3rd reveals the practice of exchanging self with others. So this is, one of the roots of developing the mind of bodhicitta. First, equalizing self and others, and then exchanging self with others. And then the natural result of that, these meditations, is that we develop the mind that seeks enlightenment in order to really benefit others. So it's just a natural process, a very calm, patient progression from our ordinary state of self-cherishing, beginning to cherish others, then developing that mind, and gradually abandoning our own self-cherishing. In the 4th verse, Langritangpa explains how to extend and deepen our compassion, and in the 5th, how to extend and deepen our love. As our love and compassion grow and our self-cherishing diminishes, it becomes increasingly easy to accept suffering and to engage in the practices of taking and giving. In the 6th verse, Langritangpa explains how to practice the patience of voluntarily enduring suffering, a prerequisite for the actual practice of taking. So if we can't endure our own suffering with a peaceful, happy mind, we're not going to want to take on other people's suffering. You know, you keep thinking, oh, I've got enough of my own, I don't want anybody else's. Isn't that how we think? Now, in the 7th verse, he explains the practice of taking giving, through which we can further improve our love and compassion. In dependence upon this practice, we can develop a very special bodhicitta, and then engage successfully in the 6 perfections, which is the actual path to Buddhahood. So, as I say, it was just a gradual process of mental development, becoming more and more familiar with these virtuous minds of cherishing others, leading to compassion, leading to this powerful mind of bodhicitta. And if we're doing it properly, we just can't help ourselves. Remember the story of the little girl who said that she and her friend, Lucy, I think it was, her friend was called Lucy. She and her friend Lucy, she loved the meditation so much, they just can't stop meditating. So we love the practice of cherishing others so much, we just can't stop. And we're carried onwards by this joy towards this mind of bodhicitta and enlightenment. When we first meditate on taking and giving, we cannot actually take on the suffering of others, nor give them our happiness. But by imagining that we are doing so now, we are training our mind to be able to do so in the future. So this is very important, because when we hear about taking and giving, we just think that's impossible. I can't possibly take on other people's suffering and give them my happiness. Yeah, it's true, we can't right now. But by training our mind, anything is possible. Even this. If I said before, if we have children, we'd happily take upon ourselves all their suffering and problems. And we'd be very happy to give them our happiness, so they could be free and enjoy and great peace and happiness, even if it means we experience unimaginable suffering. You remember the story of Geshe Shakawa, who used to pray to be reborn in the hell realms in order to save and help the people in the hell realms out of their suffering. So he's prepared to take on the sufferings of beings in the hell realms. But that mind alone ensures that it doesn't happen. Yeah. That mind that's prepared to take on that suffering ensures that he's reborn in a pure land. So we're the same. I mean, if we're prepared to take on other suffering like that, it is actually ensuring that we'll be reborn in a pure land where not even the word suffering appears. At the moment, we are unable to benefit all living beings, but we have the potential for this ability, which is part of our Buddha nature. And that Buddha nature is unchanging. Well, it's always there. It's a permanent aspect of who we are, because we have the seeds of wisdom and compassion in our deepest level of mind. But if we ripen those seeds, then we are enhancing our Buddha nature. And eventually it will break through completely. Through practicing the meditations on taking and giving with strong compassion for all living beings, the potential to be able to benefit all living beings will ripen. And when this happens, we will become an enlightened being, a Buddha. So you've got a written guarantee from Venerable Geshe. So obviously he knows. It's like he's given you a grand bargain. By practicing the meditations on taking and giving with strong compassion for all living beings, you will get enlightened. You'll be able to benefit all living beings. Your ability to do that will ripen. And when then, in that moment, you'll become an awakened one, a Buddha. Doesn't mean to say that you're going to grow this big top knot. For everybody else, you just look the same. But inside, you're completely different. And also, you have destroyed uncontrolled rebirth. And so you're able to, even when this body dies, you're able to take another body in order to benefit others. Taking in this context means taking other sufferings upon ourselves through meditation. The word directly refers to actually taking on the suffering of others through the power of our concentration. Well, I mean, you're pretty safe right now because your concentration is not that great. Yeah? Or is it? I mean, you have to have tranquil abiding in order to accomplish this. And if you have tranquil abiding, then you're just 1 step, 2 steps away from enlightenment. So this is what it means. Through the power of our concentration, we're able directly to take away other suffering. And the examples given here. And indirectly refers to taking on the sufferings of others through our imagination. So we can imagine that. We can imagine that we're doing that. And that's what we will be doing in meditation. When we start our practice of taking and giving, we do not need to think too much about how it is possible to relieve others' suffering through the power of mind alone. Instead, we should simply practice taking and giving with a good motivation. So you can do this anywhere. You can be sitting in a restaurant, imagining that you're taking on the sufferings of others. You know, the poor waitresses who are bringing you, or waiters who are bringing your stuff, and the people who are slaving in the kitchen, and all the other people enjoying the food in the restaurant. You can be walking in the hills and just walking through Liverpool 1, imagining you're taking on the suffering of everyone you see. It's an extraordinary practice. You just experiment with it. Buddha said, don't do it because it's me who's saying it. Check it out for yourself. See what happens. We should simply practice taking and giving with a good motivation, understanding it to be a supreme method for increasing our merit and concentration. This practice also purifies our non-virtues and delusions, especially our self-cherishing, and makes our love and compassion very strong. So there's what a payoff to this practice. I mean, it's amazing results. You overcome your delusions, purifies your non-virtues and delusions. I mean, you don't have to do 35 confession Buddhas every day. or 100 Vajrasattva recitations, but you can do just as a backup. But I mean, this would be, extraordinarily powerful practice that you can do throughout the meditation break. You can be working wherever your work is, imagining you're taking on the suffering and giving them your happiness instead. Through gradual training, our meditation on taking and giving will become so powerful that we will develop the ability directly to take on the suffering of others and give them happiness. So that means that just by practicing this, that sentence alone means that by training our mind with our imagination, imagining we're actually doing this, taking on the suffering and giving happiness, we get to be able to do it. Which means that we will develop the concentration that enables us to do this. We'll develop tranquil abiding. Why would that be the case? Because we're just purifying, increasing our merit and purifying obstacles that prevent us from developing these minds of wisdom and tranquil abiding. There are many examples of accomplished yogis using their concentration to take on the suffering of other beings with whom they have a karmic connection. There is a story of an Indian Buddhist master called Maitreya Yogi who took on the pain of a dog that was being bitten so that the wounds appeared on his body instead of the dog's. The great Tibetan yogi Milarepa had completely mastered the meditation on taking and giving. On one occasion he took on the suffering of a sick man, but the man refused to believe that it was due to Milarepa that he was free from pain. To prove it, Milarepa returned the pain to him, and when the pain became too much, Milarepa then transferred the pain to a door which started to shake. Can you imagine a door shaking with pain? It would be quite surreal. But the thing is, because our minds are obstructed, there's all kinds of things that we're unable to see and perceive and understand. Like, even the story of a sangha and the dog. For a sangha, what is appearing to him is this suffering dog, but in reality it's Buddha Maitreya. He can't see it's Maitreya because his mind is still partially covered by obstructions. It's not until his mind of compassion removes all the obstructions that he's able to perceive what's appearing to him as Buddha Maitreya. There's no object other than the appearing object. For Maitreya, for a sangha, it's first of all the appearing object is the dog, and then when his mind becomes pure, the appearing object is Buddha Maitreya. Yes? No? Yeah, if you change the word brain to mind, that would be more correct. Mind, yes. So yeah, we can, by engaging in this practice, and it's not that difficult to use our imagination in this way, we're training our mind. I don't want to see any doors shaking in this building. Faithful Buddhist practitioners believe that when their spiritual guide is ill, in reality he or she is taking on the suffering of others. You can believe this for yourself also, that when you are ill, you can just imagine you're taking on the suffering of others, and that's what's actually happening. Many Christians also believe that by allowing himself to be crucified, Jesus was taking on the sufferings of human beings. It is quite possible that Jesus was practicing taking while he was on the cross. If Buddhas and high bodhisattvas have the power directly to take on the suffering of others and bestow happiness upon them, we may wonder why living beings are still suffering. Because Buddhas have this power, they are continuously bestowing blessings on all living beings. As a direct result of receiving these blessings, each and every living being, including animals and hell beings, occasionally experiences peace of mind, and at these times they are happy and free from manifest suffering. So we've all had the experience of receiving blessings and having our mind become more peaceful and joyful. However, the only way living beings can achieve permanent liberation from suffering is if they actually put Buddha's teachings into practice. Just as a doctor cannot cure a disease unless the sick person actually takes the medicine that the doctor has prescribed, so Buddhas cannot cure our inner disease of the delusions unless we actually take the medicine of Dharma. So it's like Buddha is like our medical doctor. He keeps giving us prescriptions. We go to him and he gives us a prescription and we just file it away. And we go back with the same problem and get another prescription. We file that away as well. We just keep doing this and we never take the medicine. But we're joyfully thinking, oh yeah, now I've got the solution to my illness. But we don't do anything about it. We think we've established a relationship with our doctor. And so we have. But we've not established a relationship with the Dharma, with the medicine. We can only establish a relationship with the medicine. It's only the medicine that will cure our sickness. In the sutras it says, Buddhas cannot remove sentient beings suffering with their hands, wash the evil from their minds with water, nor give them realizations like a present, but they can lead them to liberation by revealing ultimate truth. So ultimate truth is wisdom realizing emptiness of all phenomena, including the self. If we realize that, if we take these teachings on ultimate truth to heart, then we will find liberation. Even when the sun is shining, if our house is shuttered, only a little light can enter, and our house will remain cold and dark. But if we open the shutters, the warm rays of the sun will come pouring in. Similarly, even though the sun of Buddha's blessings is always shining, if our mind is shuttered by our lack of faith, few blessings can enter, and our mind will remain cold and dark. But by developing strong faith, our mind will open, and the full sun of Buddha's blessings will come pouring in. So, putting this meditation into practice takes faith. If we put it into practice, it means that we have faith that there will be good outcomes. Like as it said on the previous page, there's all that good stuff that's going to happen. And then the full sun of Buddha's blessings will come pouring in. Yeah? It's like you create an upward spiral or a virtuous feedback loop. You engage in some practice of taking and giving, and the shutters of your mind will open up as a result of your faith in this practice. And then more sun, more blessings will come pouring in. And then you be inspired to engage in more. And so as you create this feedback loop, it just gets higher and higher. And you just ascend higher and higher. You're creating a virtuous upward spiral. Faith is the life force of spiritual practice. We need to have unshakable faith in Buddha's teachings, or we will never find the energy to put these teachings into practice. I mean, I said before, faith is not a binary thing. It's not either you have faith with a 1 or 0 and you have no faith. It's not like that. As you can have a little faith that will grow. As I said, you having little faith and having a little practice, you experience the good results, and then the windows or the shutters of your mind open up a little bit more, and then more sunlight comes in, more blessings come in, and you're empowered to engage in more practice, and so it goes on. The windows or the shutters of your mind open up a bit further until they're completely open. Like the little girls. You just can't stop meditating. Taking by means of compassion, for non-humans such as animals or even gods, suffering only causes them distress and unhappiness, and they cannot learn anything from their pain. By contrast, humans who have met Buddha Dharma can learn a great deal from their suffering. For us, suffering can be a great incentive to develop renunciation, compassion, and bodhicitta, and can encourage us to engage in this sincere purification practice. So Shantideva himself says, moreover, suffering has many good qualities. By experiencing it, we can overcome pride, develop compassion for other living beings, and create the cause to become free from samsara. When the Buddhist master Je Gampopa was a young layman, he was happily married to a beautiful young woman. But before long she fell ill and died. Because of his deep attachment to his wife, Gampopa was grief-stricken. But his loss made him realize that death and impermanence are the very nature of samsara, and this encouraged him to seek permanent liberation from samsara through practicing Dharma purely. There's also the story of Is it Kisikatami? Kisikatami. Yeah. Kisikatami was a young woman who had just recently given birth, but her baby had died. And she couldn't bear this. She was carrying her baby around, running around trying to find a solution to someone who could bring her baby back to life. But eventually, no one could help her. And eventually someone said, "Oh, go to Buddha. He's the only one who can help you." So when she got to Buddha, he said, "Ah, yes." He said, "I'll help you." He said, "Go to the village, the next village, and bring back from that village a sesame seed or a mustard seed from a house where there's never been a death." So she thinks, sorry? A death, yes. Bring back a mustard seed from a house where there's never been a death. So she's so inspired with this, she goes running off, still carrying her baby, and knocks on the first door, and they say, "Sorry, we had a death just a month ago." Keeps running around, and every house she goes to, there's been a death. And so she just reluctantly goes back to see Buddha. And he says, "Did you bring me the mustard seed?" And she says, "No." He said, "Well, what did you find?" And she said, "I found that everybody dies." And so with that she gave up her baby to Buddha, and she became a nun. And so by realizing the real nature of samsara, she develops the mind of renunciation, the wish to become free. As a result of experiencing the loss of her baby. So yeah, I mean, samsara kicks us in the teeth over and over. But I think part of our problem is we think next time will be better. And so we get kicked in the teeth again. First he relied upon a number of Kadampa Geshes and practiced Kadam Lam Rem. This is Kambopa. And later he met Milarepa and received the Mahamudra instructions. So the Mahamudra is like completion stage of Tantra. In Tantra there's two stages. One is self-generation as an enlightened deity, and completion stage is completing the realization of wisdom and compassion as an enlightened deity. So it's kind of meditating with a deeper level of mind that we can meditate with as ordinary beings. And this is why it becomes like a quick path to enlightenment. It is only available within Tantra. So, get your tickets ready to go to Brazil. Finally, by sincerely practicing all the teachings he had heard, he became a great master who led many beings along spiritual paths. Thus we can see that for the qualified Dharma practitioner, suffering has many good qualities. For these practitioners, samsara's sufferings are like a spiritual guide who leads them along the path to enlightenment. So here's the quotation. Shantideva says, "Moreover, suffering has many good qualities. Through experiencing it, we can dispel pride, develop compassion for those trapped in samsara, abandon non-virtue, and delight in virtue." Like the two little girls. Understanding the good qualities of suffering, we should develop joy at our opportunity to practice taking by means of compassion. Now, I'd like to continue. I know I suggested we only read up to page 164, but I'd like to continue in this section because it gives us something to practice immediately, and because it's suggesting that we can begin this practice of taking by taking on our own suffering. So if we can get through this section, we've got something that we can practice immediately. So taking on our own future suffering, to prepare ourselves for the actual meditation on taking on others' suffering, we can begin by taking on our own future suffering. This meditation is a powerful method for purifying the negative karma that is the main cause of our future suffering. If we remove the cause of our future suffering, there will be no basis to experience the effect. Freedom from future suffering is more important than freedom from present suffering, because our future suffering is endless, whereas our present suffering is just the suffering of one short life. Therefore, while we still have the opportunity to purify the causes of our future suffering, we should train in taking on this suffering. This practice also serves to reduce our self-cherishing. So what's the main cause of our future suffering? Yes, and what comes from self-grasping? Self-cherishing. So the main cause of our future suffering is self-grasping and self-cherishing. So this practice also serves to reduce our self-cherishing, which is the main reason why we find our suffering so difficult to bear, and it also strengthens our patience. When through the practice of patiently accepting our own suffering, we can happily endure our adversities, it will not be difficult to take on the suffering of others. In this way, we gain the ability to prevent our own suffering and to benefit others. Understanding this, we make a determination to purify our non-virtues by taking on their effects now. So we have engaged in non-virtuous actions, many of which have not yet ripened as suffering. But they will ripen in the future. So if we imagine, through the power of our imagination, we take on all that future suffering that has yet to ripen, and we bring it into the present. I'm taking it on to myself right now, then we're actually destroying the causes of that future suffering, which is our self-cherishing. We imagine that all the sufferings we will experience in the future as a human, a god, a demigod, an animal, a hungry spirit, or hell being, gather together in the aspect of black smoke. So you can imagine yourself in all of these 6 realms of suffering. And all the suffering that you will experience gathers in the aspect of black smoke. And so you can imagine it gathering in front of you and dissolving into our ignorance of self-grasping and self-cherishing at our heart. So all this black smoke, which is manifestation of all of our future suffering, we take it into our heart, and where it enters and destroys our self-cherishing and self-grasping. So we strongly believe that our ignorance of self-grasping and self-cherishing is completely destroyed, and that we have purified the negative potentials in our mind, the cause of all our future suffering. So it's like we're home free. We're already free from future suffering, which means we're out of samsara. So we can just imagine that as a result of this meditation, we're now out of samsara. because it's destroyed our self. We no self-grasping, no self-cherishing, no delusions, and so we're out of samsara. So we stop creating the cause of new suffering. And we've purified the negative potentials in our mind. In other words, we've purified all our negative karma, the cause of all our future suffering. We then meditate on this belief for as long as possible. We should repeat this meditation on taking on our future suffering many times until we receive signs that our negative karma has been purified. So what kind of signs do you think would occur that your negative karma had been purified? Yeah, your mind is peaceful. Yeah. You stop getting upset. Stop getting irritated. You're more joyful, and you begin to see other living beings as wonderful, as yes, other bodhisattvas. So we need to do this practice of taking on our own future suffering many, many times until we get to that state. And then we'll be actually ready to take on the suffering of others. We can also prepare for the actual meditation on taking other suffering by making prayers. It's very easy to say prayers, and if we say them with a good heart and strong concentration, they are very powerful. While concentrating on the meaning we pray, therefore, O compassionate venerable Guru, this verse is from Offering to the Spiritual Guide. But you know that, right? Therefore, O compassionate venerable Guru, I seek your blessings, so that all the suffering, negativities, and obstructions of mother sentient beings will ripen upon me right now. We feel joy at the thought of taking on the suffering of all living beings, and we hold this special feeling for as long as possible. By repeating this prayer day and night, we continually strengthen our sincere wish to take on the suffering of others. We then engage in the actual meditation on taking on other suffering. So, I would recommend then that you practice this taking on your own future suffering many, many times, and at the same time make this prayer to be able to take on the sufferings of others. So reciting that prayer is like a preparation, as is taking on your own future suffering. It's like you're preparing your mind to be able to accomplish this in the future, to engage in the actual meditation on taking on other suffering, and to make that meaningful. Okay, so we'll stop there.
We've got new partners in this big discussion last week, so unless someone's been, we've got this quite wrong, talking about partners being a bit different. We have Helen and Susanna, Eddie and Mark, and Sue and Gordon. That's all right? I might join someone in a minute. I recommend you Rosa. And ask for taking. I know, but that, I'm very satisfied. There's a lot of things. As soon as she starts, then I mean, well, it was like, when he's saying this,
would you prepare for next week, pages 166 to 171?
We're not having a class next week, are we?
We're off next week because it's Easter bunny.
You're right, yes.
Easter bunny and Easter
I just want to work straight through it, isn't it?
It's chocolate festival.
So, sorry, what pages did that say?
166 to 171, the bottom of page 171. And the meditation for next 2 weeks' time?
I think we should do that one.
Yes. Kind of chooses itself. Right. Okay. So that's your practice in the break. Practice.
Om Muni Muni Maha Muni.
No. That's your practice in the break, to practice taking on your own future suffering.
Niya Soha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muniya Soha. Through the virtues I have collected, by practicing the stages of the path, may all living beings find the opportunity to practice in the same way. However many living beings there are, experiencing mental and physical suffering, may their suffering cease through the power of my merit, and may they find everlasting happiness and joy. May everyone experience the happiness of humans and gods, and quickly attain enlightenment, so that samsara is finally extinguished. For the benefit of all living beings as extensive as space, may I attain great wisdom like that of Manjushri, great compassion like that of Avalokiteshvara, great power like that of Vajrapani. The Buddha Dhamma is the supreme medicine that relieves all mental pain, so may this precious Dhamma jewel pervade all worlds throughout space. May there arise in the minds of all living beings great faith in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and thus may they always receive the blessings of the three precious gems. May there never arise in this world the miseries of incurable disease, famine, or war, or the dangers of earthquakes, fires, floods, storms, and so forth. May all mother beings meet precious teachers, who reveal the stages of the path to enlightenment, and through engaging in this path, may they quickly attain the ultimate peace of full enlightenment. Through the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the truth of actions and their effects, and the power of my pure superior intention, may all my prayers be fulfilled. So that the tradition of Tsongkhapa, the king of the Dhamma, may flourish. May all obstacles be pacified, and may all favorable conditions abound. Through the two collections of myself and others, gathered throughout the three times, may the doctrine of Conqueror Losandrapa flourish forevermore. Tsongkhapa, crown ornament source of all attainments. Avalokiteshvara, the treasury of unobservable compassion. Manjushri, the supreme stainless wisdom. And Vajrapani, the destroyer of the horse of Mars. O venerable Guru Buddha, synthesis of all three truths, with my body, speech, and mind, respectfully I make request. Please grant your blessings to ripen and liberate myself and others, and bestow the common and supreme attainments. Sankapa, crown ornament of the scholars of the land of the snows. You are Buddha, Shakyamuni, and Vajradhara, the source of all attainments. Avalokiteshvara, the treasury of unobservable compassion. Manjushri, the supreme stainless wisdom. And Vajrapani, the destroyer of the horse of Mars. O venerable Guru Buddha, synthesis of all three truths, with my body, speech, and mind, respectfully I make request. Please grant your blessings to ripen and liberate myself and others, and bestow the common and supreme attainments. Sankapa, crown ornament of the scholars of the land of the snows. You are Buddha, Shakyamuni, and Vajradhara, the source of all attainments. Avalokiteshvara, the treasury of unobservable compassion. Manjushri, the supreme stainless wisdom. And Vajrapani, the destroyer of the horse of Mars. O venerable Guru Buddha, synthesis of all three truths, with my body, speech, and mind, respectfully I make request. Please grant your blessings to ripen and liberate myself and others, and bestow the common and supreme attainments.
Thank you, everyone.